Hi everyone, welcome to Fat the Thin Senior RNY. I'm Raven. I'm 76 years old and I had gastric bypass surgery on December 16, 2019. Medicaid approved the surgery. Last week I talked about various non-scale victories. Some of them were very surprising. In this vlog I'll be talking about why we don't do the best for ourselves. If you're curious, please join me on this journey and continue to watch, and please comment. Last week I talked about various non-scale victories. Things like my clothes falling off and getting into a bathing suit and actually appearing in public with my body hanging out and getting into the water. It was absolutely a victory. I didn't even know I had a bathing suit that fit, which it didn't quite. Mostly didn't fit. Anyway, this week I talk about the benefits of the RNY surgery for me. I expected fast weight loss. I expected, in my case, medical problems reduced or alleviated. Things like migraines, fibromyalgia, prediabetes, and general overall pain. And it has been either alleviated or reduced. Overall, in general, I generally have almost no pain. Most of the time I wake up and I'm fine. I'm getting going. Every now and then, like this last week, my legs were hurting, my body was swelling up, all kinds of stuff. But at any rate, I find that I want to move, I walk, I want to get up and go. When I first started wearing an activity tracker, it was those little round ones you get with those little button things that you put clip onto your shoes or whatever, and then of course you kick it off into the grass and never notice. So I had a bunch of those. But the first time I got one, I thought, well, I'm going to increase my movement, I'm going to walk a lot, let me see how much I'm doing now. Well, I was thinking that I was doing okay. I was doing an average of 250 steps per day. Obviously, I was very sedentary and wasn't going to ever lose any weight like that. So I think was one of the best things I've ever done for myself, was to buy myself an activity tracker of some kind. And since then, I've worn one. This is a Garmin. But anyway, and it believe me, it keeps you on a straight and narrow. I found too that and this is something I didn't expect, that I would buy better quality food. For instance, because of the surgery, you can only eat 6 ounces a day, that kind of a thing. I would buy a pound of ground beef. Well, I used to get the, $25.75 or whatever it is, the cheapest piece of meat I could get. Well, the thing is I would do the whole pound at one time, so when you buy meat, then you buy 4 or 5 pound, you buy a 5-pound tube or whatever they are. So I find now that I can only buy 1 pound of ground beef, and that pound of ground beef is going to last me a very long time because I can only eat 3 ounces of it at a time. So I've decided to start buying some really good quality meats. I mean, why not? It's the same budget. So instead of getting cheap shit, I get some really good quality meat. I get grass-fed, free-range, organic, whatever, because I'm only buying 1 pound. and I'm still eating less of it. So I found that the benefit of the RNY surgery is that I could buy better quality food. because I'm eating less of it. I found that I'm experimenting more with foods too. I just tried a spaghetti squash. I do not care for it. I think that's the second time I've tried spaghetti squash. I think it was easily 5, maybe 10 years ago that I tried before, and I didn't care for it then. The thing is I really don't care for squash. I'm not even into eggplant and out of all of the squashes, the only one that I kind of sort of more or less like is butternut squash. Pumpkin is okay in pies. And that's it, you know. I don't understand this pumpkin craze that's going on for the last couple of years, that everybody has got pumpkin in everything, because not really. I have found, and I guess I kind of sort of expected it because people talked about it, that my tastes have changed. I mean, my taste buds have changed. The taste of food has changed. And a lot of stuff that I really, really, really used to like, I just, I don't care for it anymore. Which is kind of funny. And in most cases, it was the junky kind of thing that I don't care for anymore. Anyhow, I've been craving greens, collard greens, kale, anything like that. Just spinach, arugula, you name it. So that's absolutely a benefit, because you can eat a lot of spinach, and I mean, physically I can't eat a lot of spinach, but you can eat a lot of spinach and never gain an ounce, unless you go crazy with the stuff that goes on it, I find that some of my addictions have changed. For instance, I'm not crazy for sugar like I used to be. I was a sugar addict, for sure. And now everything, just about everything, even the protein drinks are just way too sweet. I cringe trying to swallow them, which goes to show you that your body really doesn't like all of that sugar. We just got used to it, I expected to develop some kind of awareness about how my body feels and that kind of stuff, but I didn't expect it to be as profound or forceful. I mean, I heard of people talk about what do you call it, when you throw up because you ate too much and that kind of stuff. I can't think of the word. And but I still didn't expect it to be as strong and as forceful as it is. So stay away from the sugar. At least I found. I had that one piece of cake, it was about 3 weeks ago, with some icing on it, and that was just horrible. I was sick. I was really sick. And almost immediately. So, yeah, it lets you know. This tool lets you know, okay? And the thing I really didn't expect was the awareness of how much I try and talk myself into a Fig Newton or a Chinese restaurant or whatever, I had no idea I was sabotaging. I mean, you know when you're doing stuff, but you don't really know how much. It's phenomenal. You don't know how long it goes on during the day. I mean, I haven't clocked it, but I suppose I've been talking to myself all day long about whatever. One of those munchies that I've got here in the house. What munchies do I have? And anyway, as far as I'm concerned, the RNY surgery fulfilled all of my desires. And the biggest, of course, was the next to the biggest was the fast weight loss, because the biggest for me was the diabetes. I wanted to get rid of that more than anything else. At any rate. And for me, the RNY surgery was like doing a ritual. I'm into rituals, religious rituals, and my thing was to study various and sundry religious comparative religions. I find that fascinating. But at any rate, everything has a ritual. I mean, if you go to work, you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you do that, you go, it keeps going, right? And as far as I was concerned, the surgery was the ritual, was the method that I used to get to the position of where I am now. I mean, you could do rituals or prayers, and if you do, you usually kneel, some religions stand, but let's say kneel. You may light candles, you may burn incense, you may, whatever you do, you may sing, you may dance in your church. The thing is that these things are to put you in touch with yourself and with your ultimate being, okay? And I feel that for me, the RNY surgery was a ritual to break my bad habits, to get rid of my addictions. And it's working. It's not only working on the sugar addictions and whatever it is that I was munching on to keep me fat and that kind of stuff, but it's working on things like the shopping addictions and whatever else, that I got out there. Lord knows. And it keeps me aware of what I should not add back into my diet, to actually look at things and see that if it is good for me or not. Should I make that decision? It stops me. It cuts me off, which is a wonderful thing for as long as it continues. And from what I understand, looking at other RNY or surgery patient, bariatric surgery patients, it's somewhere around 18 months. Well, I can't say that I have the no hunger thing, which would have been nice, because I do. I get ravenously hungry at twice a day. It's crazy. I mean, I find myself looking without my own volition, without my own consciousness. I'm standing in front of the refrigerator. So I now have stuff prepared for that times. I eat at 10 o'clock or between 10 and 11, and then I eat between 7 and 8 at night. And in between that, I drink stuff, whatever. But those are the two times that I seem to be crazy for something to eat. Who knows why? I know by doing this RNY surgery that I could not have lost all of this weight by myself, even the 50 pounds. I'm only halfway there, not even quite halfway, to where my goal weight is. But I couldn't get there by myself. I had to do some kind of intervention. And the RNY surgery for me was that intervention, was that ritual. And whatever it was, it had to be big, because my mind, I talk about my mind like it's somebody else, but it can find ways. I mean, it's miraculous. And I find that it finds ways no matter who you are. I think we all have this ability to just really do ourselves in, The other thing is that this ritual, whatever it was I did to lose weight, I had to believe it. I had to believe it in my mind, in my body, in my universe. I had to have my friends believe it. This had to be impactful. Because I've already tried 25 to 50 years of trying to lose the same 50 pounds. And whatever it was that I tried before wasn't working. So, you know, they say it's insanity to keep doing the same thing, so I tried the RNY. I do not expect to go looking for another surgery. I do not expect to continue or even start gaining weight. So I'm using this tool as a tool. And I realized what I've done and how I've done it and what the ramifications are of the surgery, because this is dangerous. I mean, the surgery is dangerous. I mean, one out of 100 dies, 1 out of 1,000 people die, whatever it is, somebody dies, and I didn't want it to be me, because my goal is to live to be 135 years old or more. Okay, so I wasn't ready to drop dead, but it is a serious surgery, and I did get my will and all of my paperwork in order, just in case. And I realized the possibility and the dangers. And you should too if you're going to do this. I think that this surgery can work for everyone. It's a matter of how much you talk to your mind, how much you overcome your own addictions and foibles. So, self-sabotaging. My weight loss has slowed down. Well, we knew that anyway. But this last week, I've had inflammation in my body. I mean, I feel swollen. Or I feel less swollen today than I did yesterday. I feel inflammation. My legs are swelling. My knees hurt. My hands were swelling. My fingers are swelling. I found pain was returning to my hands and my feet. And my back itches. Now, I am trying to decide, is that the bra that's causing my back to itch? Is it one of the pills I'm taking or something? But it's crazy. I think possibly it might be too much cheese. I don't eat dairy because I'm lactose intolerant, and I probably shouldn't eat cheese either, but how do you give up cheese? Come on, you know? So I've been doing a lot of cheese lately. Got to get your protein. And it also might be the bacon. I had been off and on a bacon jag, and lately, though, it doesn't taste good to me anymore, so my body probably doesn't need it anymore. I've stayed within the fat and calorie guidelines while eating the bacon, but I have a funny feeling that it's like the candy that I used to eat. It was after the operation that I found out that I saw a video where this movie where this guy ate sugary stuff for 30 days, but he stayed in the within calorie guidelines, and he gained 8 pounds. And I'm wondering if it's the same thing with the fat in the bacon. I need to find out what I'm allergic to. I have never gone to a doctor and been tested to find out what I'm allergic to. I just kind of sort of learned to avoid certain things. Like melons, for instance, make the inside of my mouth feel like there's pepper in there, and it swells up a little bit. So believe it or not, I can't eat melon. I mean, I can eat a little bit of it, but after a while it's not cool. So one of the benefits of this week, though, is that I found that I can eat salad. Oh, hallelujah. So that's cool. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out if I'm sabotaging myself or not, and if I am, then stop it. So that's that, okay? So on to Rowley. Rowley is still pissed off at me. I finally got him to eat again because he had stopped eating. He was eating 1 meal a day, and he would gobble that down like, you know, it was his last meal, which is not the way he usually eats. But he wouldn't eat any treats. He wouldn't take any jerky. He wouldn't eat his dinner. he would sit there, and he would sit in the middle of the floor over there and stare at me and just lay and just stare at me, right? So I finally got him to eat again. I had forgotten that I had some freeze-dried dog food in the cabinet that I had put away just in case this COVID-19 thing got to be worse than it was. And so I took some of them and I crumbled it on top of his canned food. I mean, he's not eating the dry food, he's not eating the canned food, you know. So at that point, he really, 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 really likes that freeze-dried stuff, so he would eat. So I got him to now just go and eat. But he wasn't. And even now, I have to kind of talk to him, go get your food, go get your dinner, let's go eat, that kind of a thing, because he'll sit there and look at that bowl, and that bowl will dry with the food on it all day long. So anyway, he's still pissed off. He's beginning to figure out, he's doing pretty good though. He's beginning to figure out what a pull toy is for. I'm beginning to get him to pull back just a little bit. He wouldn't even hold on to it for a while. I've had him since Christmas Eve of last year, and he's just learning how to do a pull toy. I mean, when he first came here, he didn't know how to run after a ball, or he didn't know what a ball was for. You know, he had squeaky toy of the little plush things, and he liked squeaking those, but that was it, you know. So now he seems to be almost depressed. He's not pushing me for anything, you know. So anyway, I think it's because I don't share my poi. Last night I went out with the poi, and I decided I was going to try and do some of the practice turns and that kind of thing. And he watched me. He sat in the doorway on the top of the stairs and watched me. Didn't even come all the way outside. And he stayed away from the balls, which was cool. And when I came back in, I put the balls back in the case, and I set them next to me on the couch while I took off his harness, right? But he didn't see me pick up the case and put it on my desk. So anyway, he went through this thing. After a while, you know, he went through this thing of getting his favorite ball and bringing it to me to toss. I was surprised because he hasn't been bringing me any of his toys. So I threw the ball, and he went and he caught it, ran and caught it and brought it back, but he did not bring it back to me. He brought it over to the other side of the room and sat down in that same spot he's been staring at me from. And he started chomping on this ball. I said, okay, that's cool. This is a squeaky ball. And it's actually a ball inside of a ball, which is the only toy that I've managed to get. He doesn't get the squeaker out of, can't get the squeaker out of it. It must be driving him crazy. But anyway, he took that ball and he sat down way over there on the other side of the room, and he looked at me and he started barking. You know how they put their butt up in the air and their feet down, you know, and he's going to tell me stuff. Okay, so I told him, I don't know what you're talking about. So he jumped up on the couch and started looking where I put the bag of poi balls, the case, and it wasn't there. So he goes over to the other end of the couch and he starts snuffing behind the pillows over there, because figured maybe it's over there. No, it's not there. So he jumps down off the couch and comes back over to sit next to me here, and looks up and sees the poi bag, puts his head down, and it goes into a dejected attitude. You know, yeah, he's pissed off at me because I will not share my toy, my poi toy. So he's pissed because I haven't learned to share. And I want to know, and I don't think I am I the only crazy dog owner out there who sees this kind of thing in their dog? I mean, or am I just personifying him? Is he smarter than we are told animals are supposed to be? I mean, after all, we're animals, how, you know. It seems clear to me what he's doing. It looks to me like he is really chastising me for not sharing. I am not being a good friend, you know. And so, you know, so I said to myself, I wish I could speak dog. Here's where the story comes in. I wrote down here on my list, wish I could speak dog, so I could say that I wish I could speak dog. And I decided, okay, I'm going to take a break. So I go to YouTube. It's amazing how stuff turns up. And there's this story about this woman who taught her dog to press buttons so that he can speak to her. The dog's name is Shelly. No, it's not Shelly. Sally, I forget. Anyway, she taught this dog. The dog now has 29 buttons and carries on conversations with her and her boyfriend. And so I looked it up. And so the links and her website and everything is in the description below so that you can teach your dog to talk to you. So I'm going to order 4 buttons and start off with out and maybe food, I don't know, a couple of words, and see where we go from here. I think that he'll be excited. I was reading some of the reviews, and one of the reviews is that the button doesn't, some of them break down. So you got a 50-50 chance, you know. And this woman had started training her dog, and the buttons decided to die, and the dog was upset, was dejected, because now he cannot talk to his person, you know. So anyway, I looked into that. That is really, really, really cool. And like I said, it's in the description below. You won't believe it. It's amazing. And it's possible. As far as I can see it, I mean, why not? I mean, dogs, animals aren't as dumb as we think they are. You know, we're the dumb ones because we're not understanding them. And they are each understanding each other. Cats and dogs understand each other. Cats and birds and dogs understand each other. Who's the dumb one here, right? Okay. So anyway, to sum up, I'm feeling good. I have no regrets about the surgery. I still had some foot pain, back pain, which reminds me those shoes are fabulous. My feet feel really good in them, supported. My legs feel good, my back, everything. It causes me to stand up straighter, that kind of good stuff. And anyway, so I have no regrets about the surgery. I would do it again. It's an excellent tool if you continue to use it as a tool, as intended. And that is a real thing that I have to constantly remember. I have to use the measuring tools. I have to use the scales. I have to, you know, I really need to do that. That's my ritual for continued weight loss. I met a few more women here in the park who have had surgery. Each of them had a significant weight regain. And even though they talk about how little the amount of food they can eat and whatever, they also talk about what they eat. And it appears that they've reintroduced more than they should have into their diet, such as soda. Soda is a big one that people just put back into their diet. Ice cream, candy, alcohol. Oh, ice cream, candy, cake, that kind of stuff all kind of lumped together. Yeah. And then alcohol. Alcohol is another one that they seem to be doing too much of. And for me, it's a heads up. Because I don't want to reintroduce anything and get into the habit of that again and get the taste for it again. I'm not gonna do that. So I just need to stay aware of what my goals are, what I really want to look like, what I want to do, where I want to go, things like that. I have to keep it all in focus. So, please like this fly in here. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and don't forget to click show more to see the links in the description below. Because that dog stuff is really interesting. Take care of you and yours, and blessed be.